2020 has been a pendulum. Let me explain. I started out the year with a newfound sense of optimism for the new decade. I didn't want to make a big deal about it, but I did make an effort to set 3 mindset shifts that I wanted to apply as I was going through what felt like a new chapter. So the first one was chase happy. Second was to be more myself. And the third was to be aware that growth and change only happens when I'm pushed outside of my comfort zone. And having these 3 things in mind really made me feel like I was being more intentional, and I just felt really good. It's kind of funny looking back on. So immediately, starting in January, I picked up vlogging again. That was a lot of fun. At the time, I was the chair of the Indio Chamber of Commerce, so I was, really active in my local community. There were leadership opportunities, there was boardroom meetings and public speaking. I also became aware of the Yang Gang, which feels like a freaking lifetime ago. Because of Andrew Yang, who was a Democratic candidate back in January, I became politically engaged for the very first time. And outside of professional stuff, I felt like we were doing a lot of reconnecting with family, which was really nice. I mean, especially looking back, considering we would just be in quarantine for the rest of the year. I'm so glad that we were able to do that. So going into March, it just all kept going up, right? Like Tom and I finally made the decision that we wanted to start an LLC together, which was super exciting. One of the things that we established in March was our new YouTube Mastermind, which is our private group coaching membership, still thriving, still going on strong. Our first meeting, our kickoff meeting for the YouTube Mastermind was March 17th. It was a Tuesday, and that day started out like any other day, except in the afternoon, it became a very abnormal day. Ollie started acting funny. Tom insisted that we take him to the vet, but we had our YouTube Mastermind that night. So he decided that he can take Ollie to the vet. I was convinced it was nothing. And I would stay to run the mastermind, which went absolutely well. But Ollie never came back home. That was straight up the most devastating thing I've ever experienced. Talk about the pendulum just like swinging the other way. And it was kind of weird because this all happened at the same time that the world started to lock down, and, words like quarantine and social distancing and masks and PPE, it was almost like the reality of COVID-19 was starting to hit us. After some time of grieving, I wanted to swing the pendulum the other way. So I decided it was time to relaunch my online course, 022 Hero. It had been 2 years of me creating that course, so it was definitely time for a revamp. There were so many updates and new things that I wanted to do, new things that I had learned that I wanted to include. Oh my God, it was so hard, but I am so proud of it. It's amazing, and it's done. I did it. So come May, the opportunity to get married came up in our county. Tom and I had planned to get married on October 17th of this year with, we had a hotel in mind and we had started the planning and all of that. But of course, all that went out the window. So when we got the opportunity to do kind of like a courthouse wedding in our county, we were like, okay, what are we waiting for? We know that we want to get married. We want to marry each other. We want to spend the rest of our lives together. In terms of actually getting married, there was nothing to wait for. So we did it. And it was one of the best days of our life, even though it was totally not expected. It was not the way we had expected to get married, but it was so much fun. And I'm glad that you guys could all see it, because of course we live streamed the whole thing. And it was definitely a day I'll never forget. And then 2 days later, we got Finley, which is not bad news. Obviously, we love Finley, and he's definitely been a highlight of 2020. But getting an 8-week-old puppy, of course, is just a very taxing, stressful situation. There was a few weeks of absolutely just no sleep for a while, and that was really just stressful on our bodies, and it was hard for us to get anything done. And then come July, it was my birthday, specifically my 35th birthday. There was something about 35 that felt significant to me. It's there's this undeniable amount of experience that I have under my belt now. There's no need to prove myself. I'm perfectly capable. I'm perfectly equipped and experienced. So it's time to go, right? It's just time to just do my thing. And so I tried. I tried to level up everything, not just with my business, but just in life in general. I just tried to be more conscious and intentional, even more so than at the beginning of the year, or maybe despite all the craziness that the first half of the year had presented. I tried to rein things back in, and August was coming up, and every single August, I always remind myself of kind of this tradition I had started in 2017 called All In August. In 2017, I told myself that I would go all in for the month of August with like everything in life. That's how I met Tom, because that's when Tom had left a message on my YouTube channel. I had learned about his digital media program. We had connected through email, and there was opportunity to go to his job and visit his digital media program. That's definitely something I would have just put off because it's not a priority. It wasn't a thing that was going to make me money. It was just like, hey, let's connect. So I went into August like, okay, oh my gosh, we're going to go all in. We're going to do what we can. We're going to just like go crazy, right? So I tried to start exercising every day. I had my online course, which had been revamped, and I wanted to like put together this whole marketing thing. I had heard about this program called the Accelerator, which I've talked a little bit about on this channel, but it was a very like expensive group coaching program that I signed up for, but I really, I felt like I wanted to invest in myself and learn from someone who's more experienced than me. And then in mid-August, we got a call that Tom's dad wasn't doing well, and it wasn't looking good. So we drove there that night, and we literally had 5 minutes in the hospital to say our goodbye. And then he went to sleep and then never woke up. We spent about 4 days with him in the hospital, and then he passed away. Things, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like things were happening so fast, and it just was very pendulum-y, right? Just very back and forth and up and down, and very drastic things. These weren't just like bad days. This was death. This was tragedy. This was, getting married and getting a new puppy. And I almost felt like, am I okay? Like, have I been able to process everything that's going on top of the world just literally on fire around us? So it really did kind of feel like a fork in the road, because I couldn't tell whether I was trying to brace myself for just a total breakdown or preparing for a transformation. It was as if I had been in this raging rapids river thing, right? Where I was just being tossed back and forth, being in the water like a rag doll, just like, I don't even, I can't figure out which way is up, and it's super overwhelming, and I feel like I'm just being pounded by the water, and like, I can't get a grip on anything. And I could either just go downstream and let the river take me wherever, or I could stand up. And just slowly but surely, I decided to take a step in the direction that I wanted to take. It wasn't even like a conscious thing. I just was like, I'm going to do this because I decided that that's what I wanted to do. And a big part of this shift is realizing that I am not going back to a world that I know. Like, that much is clear at this point in 2020, which was like August, right? Like, there's no coming out of lockdown. I mean, of course we're going to come out of lockdown at some point, but like the world is so far beyond what we knew that the recovery and the rebuild is going to create a different world than what we knew. And I didn't want to wait for the world to turn back on, right? Like, I didn't want the way that I felt or what I was able to achieve or do to have to wait. Like, I wanted to do what I could, because the world that I knew is totally not a thing anymore. What is the world? Like, what is left, right? It's something new. It's a new frontier. And quarantine really simplified that world, because like I could no longer do things the way that I was used to doing them, or the way that they had been done by other people, because no one's been in this situation before. This is new to everybody. So, long story long, I started to rebuild my world. Just everything I knew out the window. I'm going to build this freaking world. Like, I'm going to create the world that I want to live in with what I have. And I'm going to make it amazing. And what is it going to look like, right? So the big first thing that I did was I switched from B2B to B2C. And that was just groundbreaking for me. This entire time since 2016, I have been a business to business model, right? Like, most of my income was helping small businesses and nonprofit organizations use social media and online video to do marketing or to connect with their audience. That's where I was making most of my money. I think I'm so much more fulfilled when I help a seemingly ordinary person who feels very shy and unsure of whether they have a story worth sharing, and empowering them and kicking them in the butt and helping them overcome camera shyness and figuring out YouTube, and then seeing them thrive and discover a new, creative side of themselves that they've never seen before. And, Tom is an example of that. It's just been amazing to see his journey. And the fact that I was a part of it is like, that's the coolest thing ever. And I just want to replicate that. I never had that same sense of pride, for seeing a business get more business for making videos. Like, it's just not the same. And if I were to ask myself, like, what do I want to do with my life? How do I want to be remembered? Like, what makes me proud of myself? And that's just the normal people they don't necessarily go into it for money. Like, yeah, that happens, but it's more about what am I capable of creating? And it always has been that. So to finally declare it out to myself and to the world was, like I said, was groundbreaking. So the second thing I did was I stopped vlogging. And I feel bad about that because, that's what this channel is. It's my vlogs, it's my journey. It's not that I'm going to stop making videos. I am just as passionate about making videos and sharing a message through this medium and this platform and all of that. But vlogging specifically, where I'm documenting something like in the moment or day by day, I just felt like I could do better. I think that there's something very productive for both me as a creator and you as the audience, for you to see progress. So like, I've already worked on something for a couple weeks or a couple months, and I can actually report on the difference that setting that goal has made on my life, so that you can actually have a takeaway. Like, you can see whether this is something that you want to try. You don't see any of that when you're just seeing me go about my day and eating dinner with Tom and just hanging out with the dogs. Like, it's not productive for me to make, and I don't think it's really productive for you to watch. Maybe it's entertaining. I have fun making them for sure, but I just feel like I want to try this new way of making videos, and I'm excited for it. And the other thing that I did was I wanted to create an environment that I would thrive in, right? Like, if I look back on the past 4 years, I've definitely noticed me on this hamster wheel that's broken, right? It's like I start and then I stop, and then I start and then I stop, and then I try this and it doesn't work. So I try this, it doesn't work. And it's just at some point I have to look back and be like, something isn't working, right? I need to do something really different. First thing I did was I built an external operating system using a program/app called Notion. I'm going to do a whole series of videos on Notion because I really do feel like it is life-changing. I not only use Notion for my business, but for my life in general. Through Notion, I've been able to journal every day, take a photo every day, manage my daily habits, like exercising every single day. What I wanted to do was create a system that allowed me to eliminate stress and increase my performance, that I was performing to the best of my ability. I'm proud to say that I've been using Notion consistently every single day for 2 months straight, more than 2 months. And I don't, it's just as integrated, if not more integrated into my life, which I I'm excited that it wasn't like, okay, guys, I'm starting this Notion thing. Like I could actually tell you, hey, no, I've been using this, testing it, perfecting it for the past 2 months. And it's like the best thing that I have ever done for my life. Second thing I did was I implemented scalability into my business. So, that was priority 1. I signed up for the accelerator. Even though the program is the biggest investment I've made, oh my gosh, it's been like amazing. I can't say it's paid for itself yet. So I can't wait until that day because I don't think I can, recommend the program unless it at least pays for itself. I think it's funny that I tried to do this myself without someone showing me how to do it. And I commend myself for the effort of trying. But yeah, for sure, there's this whole other world of doing it efficiently. And I suck at selling. That's just something I've always been terrible at. But through the accelerator program, I've learned how, not only how to sell, but how to build a system where the system's kind of doing the selling for me so I could focus on the creative stuff and the fun stuff that I'm actually pretty good at. I also picked up learning Japanese. Super random, but there's something so rewarding about working towards something that has nothing to do with growth or numbers or anything. It's just purely a personal development goal, and it's so cool because it is something where the progress that I make is correlated with the amount of time and effort that I put into it. It's just so nice and refreshing. I'm at the point where the lines just don't look like squiggly lines to me anymore. I can actually recognize them. I can't say for sure that I can read it yet, but I can at least pronounce the letters. And I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I've been exercising every day. I've lost count, my watch will tell me, but I'm over 60 something days consecutive of exercising. So it started out with very little changes. I started to incorporate this little thing, and then I incorporated this little thing, and then it just kind of compounded into something I'm very, very proud of. It really feels like I've evolved, which sounds so hoity-toity, but you know what? I am proud of myself because despite it all, damn it, I come out better than ever. So yeah, 2020 has been crazy for everyone I know, but I hope that you guys are safe and happy, and I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to let me know how you've been in the comments, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.